Let me start there with Mike Tirico, who joins us from Augusta. We've been talking about Conforto leans in on the pitch. What did you make of that, Mike?
So I always wondered when I did the NBA games, and I thought, did a good job of using replay. I always thought when you go to replay and you see that you screwed up a call, how do you feel, right? And that's exactly the case. And I just saw the clip of it on social media, so I didn't see the entirety of it. Uh, what Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling and Gary Cohen were saying is exactly right. If you can go to replay, get it right. That's what we all want at the end of the day. It seems as though replay in every sport has gotten so involved that it's lost any common sensibility to be applied. And there you say, yeah, okay, we're not supposed to look at that. But you know what? He moves his elbow in to strike out. Let's move on. Common sense. It would be nice if we could apply some common sense to stuff a little bit more these days.
But I was also wondering that the umpire can only do so much because of what the rule is, that they can't rule on intent, that they know they made the wrong call because he did lean in, but they don't have the authority to be able to overturn that.
That's the problem. And here's where I think you can maybe use this a little bit better, because it's not the official right there looking at the replay making the decision. It's going back to the global headquarters, right? Or it's going back to MLB. MLB can make that decision. You're right there. So it adds some elasticity to the powers of replay. The league office can say, okay, I know we didn't have line 73 addendum B to replay when the guy puts his armor in the strike zone, but let's make sense of this, and this is the right thing to do. And you know what? At the end of the day, the Mets may have said it doesn't go with line 73, note B, but it's the right thing, because you could see his post-game soundbite was pretty good. He totally looked like the canary. He ate the canary there. He's just kind of, I kind of leaned in a little bit.
But do you respect him for doing that?
Yes, 1,000%.
Okay.
For saying it or for doing it?
No, for doing it.
For doing it? I hate the fact that the guys with that armor, and we talked about this with Bonds, right? Years ago. It's different. You can crowd the plate in a different way than guys used to. I don't like all that body armor for batters, but that ship has long sailed.
We're talking to Mike Tirico joining us from Augusta. The course played tough intentionally yesterday?
I think that there's two things. It's not really the 20 under par was November. We're not going to let that happen again. I think the U.S. Open for a long time had lived with, we've got to get a score somewhere around even par. I don't think that's been the case with the Masters. You've been here so many times. Think about Sundays. They want those eagle opportunities and those roars. That's what's made the Masters special. So they're not allergic to great scoring. I do think that there's been a desire over the years to keep the distance in check. And look at Fast and Firm and what it did to the guys who hit it a long way. There were struggles for a lot of them on day one. So I think the defense is remaining on courses, especially this one, to keep it relevant. And where it bounced out then, as it felt fair, Justin Rose had an 11-hole stretch where he went 9 under. So it was not U.S. Open impossible. It was playable for great scores and a great day. And Justin Rose had 11 great holes.
How great is DeChambeau for TV?
I think he's great for the sport, which in turn is great for TV. So I want to go back to Bay Hill, the Arnold Palmer tournament, and the 6th hole where he's trying to drive it over the water, 340 yards, right? That scene of people with their cameras videotaping it, and the guy who's like 5'6" deep, or lady, I don't know who it was, but that scene where you get all the arms, it looked like a rock concert, right? And DeChambeau's like, yeah, I did it, right? I think that's great. So I thought, we talked about this a lot when we were working together when Tiger showed up on the scene. We all thought it would bring minorities to the game. I think what it did was bring athletes to the game. And it brought casual golf fans to the TV, Dan, I think, because anytime Tiger got over a shot, he might do something that you'll talk about for a long time. Like, nobody was saying, I've got to watch the Canadian Open, because when Tiger gets to the bunker, he may hit this 6 shot out of a bunker over water and land it this close, right? DeChambeau's the same kind of thing. Like, he's spraying it all over Augusta, but I can't wait to watch. Where is he going to drive it on 13? Is he going to take it over the trees on the left? Is he going to go down where the patrons are on 14? So I think that element is sensational for the sport.
There's a curiosity, but it's got to have a payoff, it feels like. With Tiger, you were watching something that was going to inevitably have a payoff where he was going to win. DeChambeau's a curiosity to me until he starts winning on a consistent basis where he's, Koepka, Brooks Koepka is a better golfer than DeChambeau, but DeChambeau is more of a curiosity here.
But DeChambeau did win a U.S. Open at a really tough course in Winged Foot, right? So I think that plus backed up with wins. Look, he's won Arnold's tournament. He's won Jack's tournament at the Memorial. He won the U.S. Amateur. So it's not as though it's all the circus show. These played great golf, difficult golf courses, tough events to win. So I think there's a lot of curiosity, but I do think there's enough there that it's not just a sideshow. I think it's really effective. Dan, I spent some time with him in the fall. I think he's as fascinating an athlete, not just a golfer, an athlete as we have in sports because of his approach. And you talk to him and it seems like a little mad scientist, but he's thought it all out and he's processed it and he's got a plan. And I just like that it's unique and he's willing to be the salmon. He's willing to swim upstream and do this in a different way.
Well, I liken him to Elon Musk. I think that there's something about his approach where you go, I don't know. But we've seen Elon Musk is a billionaire and has proven everybody wrong. And maybe DeChambeau does that. And you bring up valid points with, he did win at Winged Foot, which is a tough course to win on. Were you guys hanging out in the weight room? Were you spotting him while he was lifting weights?
Protein shakes. I was making protein shakes for him on a regular basis. I'm the shake man. Just chance to interview him and talk to him and just spend a little more time than just, hey, a quick hello on the range. And it was fascinating to see how much he's thought about things. See, I think of you as kind of a DeChambeau and Elon Musk, go against the grain, do things that others are not expecting, become a billionaire. I think you fit that category as well. Maybe you should connect more with Bryson.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad that you said it. Before I let you go, I've been to Augusta a few times, but if somebody has never been there, like the first thing that is going to wow them is what?
How beautiful it is. How there's not a piece of trash or a weed growing. There's nothing wrong with anything you see. And then there was someone here, a coworker of mine. I took him down to the 9th fairway, the crosswalk at 9, because you've seen it many, many, many times on TV. But until you go across that crosswalk and you're about 20 yards ahead of where the players hit their second shot, and you look up and all you can see is the front lobe of the green that doesn't hold any shots, that's the one that just sticks with people that, wow, the elevation changes are out of this world. TV cannot and does not do it justice. When they see that, usually the impression is, wow, I never realized that. And those things stick out, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's great when you go there and it's sensory overload. But the one thing that stood out was when you walk that course, that's a workout. Like, you get the feeling, well, it's in Augusta, Georgia. It's got to be flat. There is so much elevation there. That was the biggest surprise. Like that shot on 18 going up the hill, like you're going up a mountain there, it feels like at times.
We had a player in the Augusta National Women's Amateur. She was in the bunker. She jumped twice. And her caddy, who's her coach at the University of Houston, said, aim for the top of the TV tower. And she's like, I can't see the top of the TV tower. It gives you a sense. When you were here in the 90s doing SportsCenter stuff, were you here with Jim Colbert as one of your analysts?
Yes.
I remember that. Gosh, I remember that.
Yes. Yeah.
Jim Colbert.
He would do the whatever that was, like, he would be shooting. He'd be shooting a gun or saying, yeah. And
he'd do that when he used to make a birdie on the Champions Tour, the senior tour. That he'd do that. Exactly right. His name came up randomly when I was driving down Washington Road, past where you guys used to do the show across from Augusta National.
Yeah. I think it was called the Double Eagle Club.
The Double Eagle. It's still there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's still there.
Gosh. Yeah. I don't know if I knew what I was doing back then, but, I got to see, I was there when Faldo came back and beat Norman. And Rick Riley had the famous quote, because I talked to him on Saturday, and I said, what do you think's going to happen? He said, Greg Norman always finds the banana peel. I'll never forget that. And then years later, got a chance to sit down with Norman, and we revisited that day and what it meant to him and how it impacted him. And he was a professional in looking back on it. He said, "Look, I beat myself. Nick didn't beat me. I beat myself. But hey, I'm the one that hit the shots." He was brutally honest with himself, and that's what I love about this sport. Like, you will find guys who will just kind of pour out their emotions and let you know exactly, how this felt. Like Jordan Spieth when he lost the Masters at 12, or Rory when he goes sideways. You get into that press tent, and it just feels like it's a confessional for a lot of these guys.
Well, Dan, that's why I've loved my association with golf, and this is now 24 years since I started covering golf on a regular basis. What I love is that it's you and your score into perpetuity. There's no offensive coordinator to blame for a bad play call. You can't say the offensive line was banged up and not protecting me. It's just you. Your caddy may hand you a club, but you can always say no. So that's what I love about their honesty. It's refreshing, calling rules infractions on yourself. It is a great game. You have to remind yourself of that sometimes when you try to play it like these guys do, and you realize how good even the lower guys in the tour really are.
Good to talk to you, Mike, as always. Have fun today. We appreciate your time. Safe travels.
Same here. Miss you, bud. Look forward to seeing you soon.
It's Mike Tirico. He'll be working today with the golf coverage and keeping an eye on the leaderboard there.